All right, so yeah, as Chris says, a lot to get through. So I'm going to just start with a bit of a recap on Rhythm for those that don't know what it is, and then there's a few nuggets of new stuff in that intro as well, and then we'll kind of deep dive into the new stuff, including Control 4 and SIP, Intercom, and more. So Rhythm Switch and Rhythm Switch Pro are our primary product offerings. They're both simple smart keypads and thermostats for retrofit and new build projects. We say that Rhythm is decentralized because all of the processing is built into each switch, and that means it's really easy to design, deploy, scale, and maintain. You put one in a room, it's ready to go. You put it in another room, it's ready to go, and you just cookie cutter like that. It also means that the system is really responsive because there's no kind of processor middleman to talk back to. And then Rhythm is the front end to all of your favorite brands. So a lot of those you should recognize: Sonos, BlueOS, Rayco, Lutron, Control 4, just to name a few of them. If you have any questions about any of those more specifically, feel free to shout at the end, and I'll happily answer any integration specific questions. But that's a quick intro to Rhythm, and now just to talk through the user interface and how that looks for the end customer on a day-to-day basis. So we break Rhythm down into a few different screens. First screen is a scene screen. So the scene screen provides scene-based control of one or more integrations. You can have what we call single scenes, which just send a single command to a single integration, or more advanced group scenes, which essentially allow you to group multiple scenes together and then use those scenes in one of three modes: either a macro mode, which triggers all of the group scenes at the same time; a list mode, which when you press the master scene, it shows a list for you to then select one, so it allows you to kind of logically group things together; or step mode, which just cycles to the next scene each time you press it. So just a few different ways to customize that scene screen. You can decide what the scenes are labeled, you can change the icons, and then the mode of those scenes too. And that's kind of the bulk of the configuration of Rhythm is on the scene screen, just because it's customizable. As an extension of that, we also have our standby screen. So we have standby gestures that allow the user to toggle the lights on and off or play and pause audio without waking the screen or without looking at the screen. So you can kind of get home from work, you've got your hands full, you put your hand on the screen for half a second and it's going to toggle the lights on for you. You go about your day. If you need to do a little bit more, you tap the screen to wake it and you've got the interface. So that's kind of just an extension of the standby screen, but it kind of just provides that tactility of a light switch that you kind of know and love. Then the level screen is pretty self-explanatory, but essentially provides brightness control and on-off toggling of whole zones or circuits within zones. You can scroll down that list, you can dive into zones and control things like that. Pretty self-explanatory and nice and responsive. Then the media screen provides simple responsive access to zones, favorites, transport, and volume. We also have metadata feedback and rich album art there too. The climate screen, apologies, my dog's just gone a bit mental at the door. The climate screen works in one of two ways, either via climate integration or rhythm stat. Climate integration is where we're the front end to a third-party system. So we're reading the set point from them, we're reading the current temperature from them, and we're setting their set point. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Is working as an integration. We have a few deeper integrations where we send our temperature sensor data to them. They use it in their logic. But then the second way that the climate screen works is Rhythm Stat, which is the built-in software thermostat. That uses, in that case, all of the logic is built into the switch. What we don't have is a relay, so you just use a relay in any one of our integrations. You wire that into your heating zone or boiler, whatever it is, and then you have a fully functional thermostat with manual set point control and our 7-day scheduler. Again, that's one of the more complex screens to understand, just because it's very versatile, but either works via integration or Rhythm Stat. And now, Our new screen, we have our Intercom screen. So this allows integration with Rhythm Switch Pro with most peer-to-peer SIP intercoms. So we can get a duplex audio call, video streaming via RTSP. So yeah, you can answer the door. Customers can speak to whoever's there, see them, and open the door if they want to. Additionally, we have our camera view, which allows users to select a video stream on the fly and view that stream. So they can step through their CCTV cameras and view them. Yeah, not really much more to say on that really, but that's also new and is being launched alongside our video intercom. We have a few installation accessories. The table stand is obvious, but we have a few new adapter plates. So a single and double J-box adapter plate that's screwless, UK double adapter plate for retrofits. Both of those solutions are a screwless finish, powder coat white, powder coat black, and uncoated aluminium in case you want to get it premium finished. We operate a hybrid model, so we each Rhythm Switch or Rhythm Switch Pro ships with a set of plugins or integrations as standard. Then there's some plugins or integrations that are sold online or through our partners. And then there's some plugins that are pro plugins that are primarily sold through our installer network. So included with the hardware is with Rhythm Switch and Rhythm Switch Pro is Philips Hue, Sonos, HTTP via SD, Rhythm Stat, and with Rhythm Switch Pro specifically, audio intercom. So if you want any of the intercom or video streaming features, you do need the Pro switch. One reason being it has the speaker. Another reason being that it's PoE, so the additional data bandwidth is provided. Then premium plugins include Fabaro, Shelly, AudioFlow, Heatmiser, BlueOS Lite, and a few others. Pro plugins include the ones that you would probably expect, so Control4, Lutron, Rayco, KNX, Bluestream, Loxon, and also our video streaming plugin, again, that's only compatible with Rhythm Switch Pro. We also have a fully loaded bundle, so you can get all plugins loaded onto one switch for a fixed price. So you can either go a la carte and pick which plugins you want on a specific switch, or you can just take the whole lot, and that just caps the price point at a max price point, essentially. Check out our help center for all the release notes. Every plugin has its own release notes, as does our firmware, so you can have a look at exactly what it does and how it works. The more complex plugins also have a separate user guide that has screenshots and stuff that talks through how everything comes together. Okay, so that's kind of the generic Rhythm stuff and kind of a recap of what we've got. So now to get into the Control4 integration, which is relatively new. First, we'll talk about the integration capabilities. You can see all of this again on the release notes, but I'll just break it down for you here. So the scene screen allows you to configure scenes on the Control4 side on a per switch basis. They're then really flexible. On the Control4 side, you can use them in as button bindings or in programming. And then you pull them through as single scenes or group scenes onto Rhythm. So that's not only lighting, but also you could get it to control your AV, your audio, your security, whatever it is that's integrated in Control4, you can activate from the scene screen. And then also by extension, because you can obviously integrate with many lighting systems, you could integrate with other lighting systems via Control4 and use those from the scene screen. And from the standby screen, as I say, it's an extension of the scene screen, so you can use the whole gesture to trigger, again, any scene in Control4. The level screen will also allow you to select which loads in Control4 you want to make available to Rhythm, and then that will expose them to Rhythm. You can then select which ones to then pull on the Rhythm side. And as I say, any lighting system that you've integrated with Control4 could then pull through the lighting loads into here. So that could be something we already integrate with, like Philips Hue. It could be Control4 lighting, or it could be things like Lutron QSX or RA3 or something like that. We then integrate Rhythmstat into Control 4, so you can use Rhythm as a thermostat in Control 4. This then allows you to use the thermostat to trigger any Control 4 relay for heat or any relay integrated with Control 4 for heat. We also have a separate cooling zone now that you can use to trigger up to 4 relays, a cool for heat and low, mid, high. So that's pretty powerful. And then you can use Rhythmstat in Control 4 like a thermostat, including all of your scheduler and everything. So that's really powerful. It means you can use Rhythmstat just like any other thermostat within Control 4. The media screen is not currently integrated with Control 4, but you can, and this is just a general point, you can use any of our integrations in parallel. So you might have Control 4 integration running alongside the Sonos and BlueOS integration, and use the media screen and use the Control 4 integration for other things. As I say, you can also add scenes on the scene screen to control media if you want in Control 4. So there is kind of a workaround to control various AV and media aspects in Control 4, but we don't have native album art feedback and all of that stuff yet. If you do want that, we are looking to do it. I'd request that you let us know or get in touch with us about that so we can understand your needs and requirements. And we're hoping to do that in relatively short course, but we just really need to understand what installers are looking for there so that we don't do the wrong thing. So please do reach out to us directly if that's something that you want. The door entry solution does integrate with Control 4's DS2, which is essentially a 2N panel via peer-to-peer SIP and RTSP, or again, you can run that as an integration alongside. So any peer-to-peer SIP panel that supports RTSP as well, any cameras that support RTSP will work. Okay, so that's a general overview of what the integration supports. So I've got a few slides here on configuration. I don't have time to show you this live today, but if you do need any guidance, I can always jump on a screen share and show you. Okay, so there's two drivers, rhythm switch and rhythm switch thermostat. If you want to use the thermostat functionality, it's obvious which one you use there. If you don't, you use the one without thermostat in the name, and that just means there won't be a thermostat entity presented in the interface. So you drag one of those into the project for every rhythm switch or rhythm switch pro that you've got. The driver is free, and then the plugin is paid on a per switch basis. Once you've added the driver, you assign an IP address for the switch in connections. Just something that a few people have been caught out on is that you must assign the IP address of the rhythm switch on the Control 4 side before you try and configure it on the rhythm side. Otherwise, the driver can't handle the connection, so it has to have it defined on the Control 4 side first. But hopefully you're doing that anyway. And obviously then hopefully you're binding that IP address so it's not moving around. Then you can just select which lighting load you want on a per switch basis. So that could be your whole project or individual loads or zones. You can then configure your scenes. So there's two types of scene. There's a static scene, which is just kind of a single push command. And there's a toggle scene that will toggle between two states. Static scene has one label. A toggle scene has two labels that it alternates between. Set your number of scenes, and then you can pull them through on the rhythm side. And then you can use them in button bindings, as I say, so you can just drag them directly onto an advanced lighting load or onto a relay or whatever it is you want to control. Or you can use them in programming, so you have an activated and deactivated mode, and you can set that up to work how you like, essentially, and can control much more than just lighting. A quick reminder on Rhythmstat before I talk about that integration. So all of the logic is built into Rhythm Switch. So it's essentially the thermostat, but what it doesn't have is a relay. So it just needs some form of relay to cool for heat or other logic to cool for heat. So you can do this in connections. You can just drag the relay, the Rhythmstat relay onto the physical relay that you want to control. That will then open and close as required. Or you can do that in programming if you want to do something a bit more advanced, or you want to flip the logic or anything like that. You can do that in programming. Or you can actually do that outside of Control 4 if you want to, using scenes on the Rithum side. So you can basically, on the Rithum stat settings, say, here's on when heat is required, do this. When heat is satisfied, do this. And that could be, again, that could call Control 4 scenes, or it could control an external integration. So, for example, you could have a Shelly relay that the Rithum stat calls directly outside of Control 4, and then you could integrate that whole Rithum stat solution into Control 4 to then control it. So really flexible on how you deploy that. Once you've done the Control 4 side, you then configure the Rithum side. So you add the integration with the IP address. You can add and customize your scenes, add your lighting loads, configure the whole gesture, and configure Rithum stat. Okay, so that's a real quick flyby of Control 4 integration. Are there any questions up to this point before we go through the intercom parts? Because just in case there's some contextual questions there, feel free to unmute or type in the chat box.
Nothing on the chat so far, Ryan. So yeah, unless anyone's got anything to raise now.
Okay, I'll crack on, but feel free to interject if you have any questions. So, video intercom configuration overview. First, there's a few components to this. So there's the audio intercom. This is included for free with Rhythm Switch Pro and is only compatible with Rhythm Switch Pro because Rhythm Switch doesn't have a speaker. And it allows Rhythm Switch Pro to receive a peer-to-peer SIP audio call with duplex audio. So if the intercom system supports peer-to-peer SIP calling, most likely it's going to work with Rhythm Switch Pro. I've got a list of what we've tested it with on the next screen, but I'm sure there's way more than that. And then you can then have, as I say, have duplex audio and also send a DTMF unlock code using that key button to unlock the door. So you simply configure this on the intercom side to make a peer-to-peer SIP call from your intercom. And we have a user guide there that will be in the handout. You can use this link on our help center. And essentially, you just use a SIP IP address. In this example, is showing 2N, but we have a detailed guide for 2N and Doorbird. And then we have generic guides as well. And we'll add to that over time. You simply just add the SIP address that you want to call, including the port number. In 2N, this is just added as a user. You could add multiple users, multiple calls on one button, so you could call multiple Rhythm Switch Pros. We do also have solution for MDUs. So if anybody's looking to tender for any MDUs, do reach out and we can help you put together a solution for that, whereby the communal network and the dwelling networks are segregated, but the call can still get through from the communal panel to the internal Rhythm Switch Pros, and then the Rhythm Switch Pros can then control local in-dwelling lighting or heating or whatever it is. And then, as I say, we've tested with a variety of different solutions. So 2N IP Verso, Control 4 DS2, Doorbird, AccuVox, Limphone, Baz IP, Fastel, and I'm sure there's more that our installers are testing. If you have any more, please let us know so we can add to the list. So then on top of the audio intercom, there's the video streaming plugin. The video streaming plugin is a paid plugin that is compatible with Rhythm Switch Pro. And this adds an RTSP video stream to the audio intercom screen. So it allows you to assign any RTSP stream to that intercom call. Now that RTSP stream could come from the panel if it has a camera built in, or if you just have like a nearby CCTV camera you want to use, then it could just come from that. So again, that's really nice and flexible as to what you can point it at. And then it also allows you to use camera view, which you can then, for each stream that you add, you can create a scene that opens that camera stream on demand and allows you to see your CCTV feeds. So the setup for this, you essentially, each stream that you want to add, you add as a separate integration on the Rhythm side. You'll then get shown a QR code, scan the QR code on your phone, and you'll get taken to this simple web page on the right. And then you can just fill out these fields. If you do populate demo fields, it's going to just set up the demo stream for you. But you enter your display name, so that's what's going to show on the stream name, the stream URL, pretty self-explanatory. And then optionally, you can add a SIP address and SIP display name. And there's some helper text here to talk you through how these work and the logic behind them. But essentially, this will pair that video stream with a call from that SIP address, so that you can say, right, this video stream, I want to show when a SIP call comes from this SIP address. And then you can give it a friendly display name for that SIP call. Once you've saved that configuration, you will then be able to add a scene button to access the camera view of any stream if you want to. You could add that as a single scene, or you could add it as part of a list, so that you can condense all of your cameras into a nice list, and the customer can access them there. Again, there's a user guide there that's hyperlinked, so you can see that in your own time.